Hey guys, this is SansCorpsTarot, and today I am back again with another pick a card reading. I know it's very dark, but that's just sort of the vibe right now. It's like very late at night for me. I usually don't film this late, and I'm trying to, curate the energy of this reading. So this reading is going to be about what do people, specifically, the people probably that you've been in connections with or will be in connections with, what do they find the most seductive about you? Or, maybe not even exclusively people that you've been in actual connections with, but just people who have been able to really get a good sense of your energy. These aren't going to be messages from people who don't really know you well enough to give accurate portrayals. These are going to be, like genuinely the people close to you who know you. What do they find seductive about you? So we have three piles here. Pile one, you have nostalgia. Oh my god, you can't see it at all. You can't see it at all. Sorry, guys. But it says nostalgia, focus on the here and now. Pile two, it says sun, paint the sun back into your sky. And pile three, this is lighthouse, don't doubt your worth. So maybe also, especially because you can't really see the words, especially, probably the pictures are going to be the ones that help you guys pick your groups most of all. So take your time, meditate on your own energy, and which picture mainly do you feel like has your energy. And I'll see you guys in your groups. Hey, pile one, if you chose nostalgia, focus on the here and now, this is going to be your reading about what do people find the most seductive about you. So right now, what I'm being called to notice in this picture is just, these are two girls having a conversation, and what I'm really focusing on is, this girl, honestly. Oh my god, you can't see it all, sorry guys. But I'm focusing on this girl specifically. She's the one who seems like she's sitting back and listening, and this girl is talking to her. And I feel like this is like probably you. I feel like you were able to really allow people to feel heard, or I feel like you have a very receptive presence. I feel like people, they're able to feel sort of close to you fairly easily, or they feel very comfortable fairly easily with you. And I think that they feel very validated by your presence. I think that you're able to just make people really feel very seen and heard just by sort of, seeing and hearing them. I think that you do sort of pick up on a lot of maybe subliminal messages or signals that people send that maybe they're not even aware of. I think that you may be very good at reading body language, or just, things like tone of voice, things like, you're good at picking up on subconscious or like little indicators of, people's moods. And I think that people really appreciate that. And I mean, for how it translates to, how it makes you seductive is, I think it really, I feel like it makes people feel very special, because I think it makes them, this is a funny message, depending on how true or not it is, like it makes people feel like they really have a special sort of connection with you, like you guys get each other in a way that other people don't. And I think it's I think that's not really so much true, so much as I think that you are like listening to them, and I think maybe you are just sort of an abnormally great listener, and a very perceptive person, and very, probably very intuitive and psychic as well. And I think that they're probably just sort of picking up on the fact, on that fact, and I think that they're just simply noticing the fact that you know them, and I think that they're taking that and extrapolating that they're like an important person in your life, and that you guys have this really special bond. But in reality, you're just like, yeah, I mean, you're just like a person that I can read really well, like how I read everyone else very well, basically. And I think a lot of the time too, like maybe you're not even really listening that well to people. Maybe you feel like you're not even being that perceptive of a person, but they're like, oh my god, you're watching me so closely as I talk to you, you're letting me talk, you're giving me time and space to talk to you about my problems. Oh my gosh, we have such a special bond. And I think that just, yeah, it makes them feel very comfortable with you, and it really draws them to you. And it's funny because it's not like traditional sort of seduction, but it's sort of like it's almost like it makes people feel like, yeah, you guys can like just fall in love pretty easily. um, it makes people feel like there's a lot of greater potential for a relationship than there is, realistically, in a lot of cases. But okay, let's pull some more cards. That's funny. But I think that it is like a genuine energy, you know? So I think like with the right people, or with, you know, the people that you actually do, you know, care about listening to, I think that you are a wonderful listener. And I think that that is something that's natural, but I think, or something that naturally comes to you, but I also think that there are people who just sort of expect you to have that role, and so they just sort of talk at you maybe, and maybe you do have to like just sort of, your eyes glaze over and you have to just sort of like think something else to yourself, or you zone out, and this person thinks that you guys have like a great bond and you're a great listener, but in reality, you're just like not listening to them. But I think that you do really listen to the people that you care about listening to. But I think that you're also just so kind. You really want to give everyone the time of day. You do want to make everyone feel special, and people do feel special in your presence. But I think also you sort of realize, okay, I can't make everyone feel too special because I need to, you know, preserve some energy for myself. Let's see, what makes pile one so seductive? What makes pile one so seductive? So we have raising winds. Ugh, you guys can't see anything. But it says raising winds, magical release, calling intention, stronghold. Ooh. Oh my god, this is so funny. You know what this is actually reminding me of for some reason? So this is like a bag of wind, and it says magic wind. That's the name of the card. It's literally reminding me of SpongeBob. No, the SpongeBob movie where they had the magic bag of wind that they had to like, you know, I don't know, like undo or whatever, bag of wind that helps them fly back to Bikini Bottom, basically. And so that's like a very silly energy. So I think that that could also be something that's very seductive about you. Like, you guys have so many layers. You guys are like so funny. You know, you're like a great listener. You're nurturing. You make everyone feel seen and heard. It is sort of like almost like a therapist, counselor, mother type energy, you know? Like, you're the typical person who's just like a great listener, but then you're also, you know, I think you're goofy in a way, you know? SpongeBob movie, that's hilarious. Bag of wind, that's so funny. Oh no, it's called Raising Winds, but I swear to God, this is a bag of wind. And anyway, no, you guys are definitely hilarious. Like, but so Raising Winds, it says magical release, calling, intention, stronghold. I feel like you guys are very intuitive. I feel like you guys. So, I mean, it says magical release, calling, intention, stronghold. So, stronghold, I think that you guys, you're very intuitive, you're very spiritual, and I think that this spirituality, you're able to really understand people, and I think you're able to really understand the connections in your life. And so I think that you have really deep, like intuitive bonds and psychic connections with those people in your life. And I think that that means, you know, anyone in your life who's meant to play any sort of role. So I feel like people do feel like you have like a sort of stronghold over them, that they sort of feel like almost like, yeah, like a magical spell that you've put over them. And it is sort of this energy of being like, you know, like, oh, we have such a special connection. They listen to me so well. Like, no, you don't get it. Like, you don't have the connection we have. Like, yeah, I get like you talk to them too, but you don't have the conversations I have with them. And so it is just sort of like, but people do feel like they're under your spell. It's like, I feel like also, you know, take this how it resonates. I feel like you're a kind enough person, but maybe you don't let so many people in, but you only give them enough to sort of, because you do want to make everyone feel comfortable and you do like making people feel happy. So I feel like you give only enough for people to sort of, you know, get along with you. And so I think that then you end up almost being like the dream person in everyone's eyes. And I don't think this is intentional, but I think that, you know, this is a very This is a very beautifully strong, boundaried energy, because it's telling me that you will talk to people, you will be kind, you will entertain people, and talk to them, etc., whatever. But you're not going to, even if you feel like they want something more with you, you're not going to feel that obligated to giving yourself to them and giving your time and energy to them. You will, you'll give enough to maybe, satisfy them, or maybe just enough to sort of help you, get out of the situation. This is giving me the vibe of like you just randomly walk into someone in a store, and maybe they're like trying to like reconnect and implying you guys should like start hanging out again or something, and you're like, oh yeah, and you just try to do your best to get out of the conversation, but in a really kind way, but also in a way that's not tying you to anything. And that's the energy that this is giving me. I feel like you're just, but like it's because you sort of have a very strong psychic spiritual bond and connection with these people, because you are just a very strong spiritual person. And I think that like you're strong enough of a spiritual person that it only needs you to sort of be spiritually aware for this bond and connection to be triggered. I feel like this could very much be like just any random person in your life. It could even be like maybe you matched with someone on Tinder, you thought they were hot, but then a few seconds later you realize, oh, actually, like they have this job, and I fundamentally like disagree with the morals or something of this job. And that's just like a new boundary that you realized. Maybe before then you wouldn't have realized that, you wouldn't have actually wanted someone with that job, but then being given someone like that, you realize that. And I think that you're given that person to sort of be able to create that boundary and that sort of checklist, or that bullet of a thing that you want or are looking for. And so I think that that connection that you have with that person, even though it's a very fleeting connection, you only match with them on Tinder for like a day, and you have like one conversation with them, but then you're like, oh wait, no, your job, toss you aside. But I think that you still trigger that chord, because you're sort of like aware of the fact that this person came into your life to help you learn that lesson. It's like you're taking everyone as they come. You're not taking anything to be too serious. You're taking people and experiences that end up disappointing you as lessons. And I think the second that you realize this thing or experience was a lesson is the second that that chord gets activated, and the second that that person feels like they have that super special connection in your life. And it is some sort of spiritual connection. You guys did play a role in each other's lives, but it's a lot of the times people feel like it's a lot more intense than it actually is, or that it's actually meant to be in the future. People assume you guys are maybe meant to have a future connection, but you really aren't. But I mean, this is such an interesting energy. This is really giving me the vibes of just like, someone who's like absolutely doing their own thing, and like people just like won't stop being obsessed with them. Like it's giving me the vibe, like, look, this, like, I'm really getting the energy that you're this person, I'm getting the energy that everyone else is like this girl just coming up to you being like, oh my gosh, hey, we haven't seen each other in so long, bestie, like let's get together. And you're like, yeah, okay. Like you'll take it because you don't want to be rude, but you don't really care that much to talk to this person. But it feels like everyone else just is like so eager to like get in on your energy. This is so funny, honestly. Raising Winds, Magical Release, Calling, Intention, Stronghold. I'm gonna get another card actually from this. See, I love this oracle deck. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I think that you guys are pretty goofy, Maybe you guys have like, maybe not even goofy, but maybe you guys just do have a very strong sense of humor. Maybe you guys are like sarcastic or something. But I think that there's definitely there's some energy that also like you just naturally are a very down-to-earth person. So people you know, coupled with how much people feel like you're listening to them, I like, and then you're like just sort of very genuine, down to earth energy where you're very much yourself for everyone. People, yeah, people feel like this is a true connection that they have with you. And I mean, I'm not lying, like, I feel like I would too. This is so beautiful. Jinn, wildness, enigma, service, choices. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so I feel like you are sort of an enigma. So I think that you know what, let's get some more cards. Yeah, so definitely an enigma, because I think this is also, so wildness. Um, I think that you guys, you know, you like doing spontaneous things. Oh my god, this is supposed to be like, so I'm getting, this is so interesting because this is supposed to be seductive, but I keep getting fairly like platonic type qualities about you. And I don't want, so I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way, but I feel like people, you know, people fall in love with you basically. I feel like people aren't really, people are seldom only thinking about sex with you. I think that people, you know, they're rarely only thinking about sex. I think that people are like, they're mainly falling in love with you, and then that's just sort of what's causing like that joint sort of like obsession with your, you know, your physical body. But okay, I'm gonna try to really focus on, you know, the more sort of like seductive physical qualities, because I know that that's what you guys are looking for. Let's see. So we have doing crimes. Yeah, I think that you guys aren't really afraid of, you guys live by your own rules, and so people do admire that, because I feel like you, yeah, you're not a, I don't think that you necessarily like, you know, break the law, do crimes, but I think that you are very much sort of like, you'll go against society standards or society norms. You know, maybe you know, regardless of, you know, gender, if any, that you identify with, maybe you just sort of like androgynously, or maybe you just sort of a little differently from your gender. Then we used to have the Amish, yeah, so I think that there's just, so again, just so much enigma energy, just so many things that seem a little contradictory for you, you know. So I think that you're this sweet person who's kind and wants to make everyone feel cared for and nurtured, and you listen to them, but then you also like kind of don't really care about having that many connections in your life. You only care about having, you know, a few connections with really solid people. And then also like, you're a very funny person, but I think that you do take things very seriously, and that's why you will not just sort of open yourself up to anyone, you know. You do have strong boundaries in your life. A really cool hat. Yeah, I'm getting the vibe that you guys probably look really cool. Yeah, I think that you guys, there is some aspect of the way that you guys dress that is like very like honestly, it's giving, I don't, not to say like hipster, like, because I don't think it could, like, maybe it is actually the aesthetic, like the classic aesthetic of like the hipster, but I think mostly it's just sort of something a little odd or a little out there, or maybe just a little bit, maybe a little bit gender non-conforming, or, you know, societally unexpected. The devil himself, which always gives me, so the devil himself, the thought that I had with putting that in this deck was, I also have a card that has like God himself, and I was thinking of like the devil as like, you know, super hot and attractive, but maybe in like the bad boy bad girl way. And once again, this is so like, the more I read into your energy, like the more complex it becomes, honestly, because so like, yeah, I think that you guys do have like this very classically sexual aura. I feel like you are a lot of people's physical type. I feel like you have a lot of just sort of like classic beauty to you, like just also I'm getting the vibe of like just a lot of, you know, the classic beautiful features that stand out for, you know, whatever culture, whatever, or wherever you come from, you know. Like, I'm getting, you know, you have beautiful hair. Like, yeah, your features are beautiful. Your individual features are beautiful, and then it just sort of makes you into like a beautiful artistic portrait. You know, like beautiful hair, getting beautiful eyes, beautiful eyebrows. I think probably, yeah, a very nice, like, a nose that goes very well, you know, with the space between your eyes and your mouth. Women's suffrage, I think that you're, so we also had service here. So I think, yeah, I think that you're very you're very outspoken for what you believe in, you know, and I think that that sort of translates into your external appearance. So I think maybe you are like a radical feminist, or like, you know, you're very you have strong morals, and maybe the specific morals that you have influence, yeah, your external appearance in a certain way. Maybe you're very much against like the gender binary, and so yeah, that's why you sort of dress, or not, maybe it's not why you dress in a certain way, but you know, it's sort of it feeds into it, you know. You're very much against the gender binary, and that's pretty obvious in how you dress, because maybe you dress like neither a man or a woman. And then we have seething with quiet resentment. So I think that, yeah, you keep a lot in, and I think that okay, so this is another, you know, added depth to that message I was getting initially of you being such a great listener. I think that you also are just, people feel like they don't get to know you, or people feel like you're hard to get to know, or you have this hard shell, like from the initial impression that they get from you or your first meeting. But then you guys, like, because you do like have such an easy to get along with presence, and you're very easy to talk to people, yeah, that makes people feel like they're able to break down your wall. And so people feel like, yeah, like, you know, not many people know this person like how I know them. But it's like, actually, no, you know them as little as you think everyone else knows them as well. But also I think that, okay, so you're like, I think what's, honestly, if I can boil down what's most seductive about you, I think it's like your air of untouchableness. I think that really, like, so few people can get that close to you. But I mean, and the feeling that people get of becoming closer to you or getting closer to you, like, that's what draws them in. That's what makes you feel so seductive to them. Because these people, yeah, they see you as just sort of like an untouched gem, but maybe something with like a barbed wire fence around them or around you. And as they approach you, you know, they see that there's like a hole in the fence and they try to go through it. This is such a weird analogy. And then they get to you, and they think they get to you, but actually what they don't see is that there's another invisible, like, infrared, like, little wall thing around you and around that gem. And so they're still not really able to get there, but they think that they got there. They think they got through the only defense, but they didn't. And so sort of like just that, almost sort of like baiting energy is what really draws them in. But it's because you are such an enigma. People don't really understand you very well. You have very strong sense of morals, but you also, like, you do have, like, your strong sense of morals cause you to be very traditional in some sense, I feel like. Also probably very, like, non-traditional in some sense. So yeah, it could be something like, maybe you're against the gender binary, but maybe you're really in favor of, like, traditional marriage or something. Or, like, you're really in favor of, like, yeah, actually getting married and stuff. Interesting. But yeah, so I think that you have something very interesting about your dress, and you are very attractive. You're very attractive, but yeah, also, you're very attractive, but you also feel very closed off to people, and so that makes people want to break down your barriers. Juicy, yeah, you guys may be very, like, thick, actually, like, thick thighs, thick legs. Tasty, oh my god, you guys got juicy and tasty. You guys have a lot of outright physically sexual energy, I gotta be real, which is so interesting because it took a little bit for that to come out, which is so interesting because, I mean, yeah, like, you guys, so I think that's it. Like, people are seduced by you for the classic reasons that anyone would be seduced initially by a person, you know, like attractiveness, external attractiveness. I think that you do also have an air of, like, spirituality to you too, where, like, you almost, maybe you're, like, you know, some sort of telekinesis, some sort of, like, yeah, like mind reading vibe almost, where people just, yeah, they feel like you can read their mind, they feel like they can read your mind. But then it's like, yeah, your air of untouchableness or your guardedness sort of throws people through a little bit of a loop. But then those who are able to sort of feel like they can get through your defenses, like that journey of getting through your defenses is what makes you so seductive to them, because they feel like, oh, I'm finally like getting to reach this person. Lovable. Yeah, I think that you're an admirable person though too. So you're someone that a lot of people respect. And I think that's why probably not a lot of people do end up, going even through that initial like barbed wire fence, because I feel like, yeah, you're someone that people respect. So I think that a lot of the time people will see how honestly hot and attractive you are, like in a typical sort of stereotypical traditional sense for your culture. And then I think that they're gonna see a little bit how close you are off initially, and that's gonna just sort of, it's gonna cause a lot of people who see how powerful you are to just sort of like not even approach you, because they know that they would be wasting their time. But then, the few people who do feel like they're strong enough to approach you, they feel like they got you in a way that they didn't, and they feel very satisfied by their attempt at learning you and getting that relationship. But I feel like these relationships don't even like get off the ground usually. I feel like these are people that maybe you like talk to them, or you're like, yeah, maybe you talk to a lot of people, but you don't actually like go out and actively date, or you haven't had like a lot of actual solid committed relationships. You also have sloppy, so I think you like to have a good time too. Yeah, this is giving me like very good like ambivert energy. Like you're a very balanced person in all aspects of your life, which is also like what makes people so interested in you. Lively, yeah, you're very, yeah, what I just said, I think that you're a very fun person. Weird. I think that just again has to go with your like sort of complex energy, where you have just a lot of different things going on for you. Um you're doing crimes, not actually, but maybe you're like going to protests, but then you're also like, maybe you're in like grad school or something, so you're going and studying. But then maybe you also like have a side hustle where you're like making, yarn bracelets or something, and you do that too. But then also maybe you like run marathons, you do a lot of stuff. And this isn't even like you just have a lot of hobbies, but you have a lot of different aspects of you. So maybe part of your time is spent for community service, and then part is for like spending time with your family, and then other times is like really just insular moments where you go and spend times with yourself. You have a lot of different aspects of you that not a lot of people get to see, but the people who do get to see, they're so enthralled by it, and they really feel so drawn to you. And I don't think that many of those people even get to really get to know the real you, because I think that you are, I still feel like I haven't even really tapped completely into the complexity of your energy. And we've been in this reading for like, a little bit now. But yeah, I think that you're a, you're a, I honestly like, you have all of like the classic seductive things about you, but I think the number one seductive thing is people just don't really know who you are, including me a little bit. I'm I, f- I feel like I've tapped into your energy before, but I feel like that type of reading that this is, I think that for romantic connections specifically, you, or maybe just, yeah, connections with people in general, you just haven't really been able to trust them very much. So I feel like I've probably been able to tap better into your energy in other readings, that are really about, mainly about you. I feel like probably your energy isn't very easy to be read in connection to other people, because I think that you almost stifle your own energy a little bit in connection to other people. Not to call you out or roast you or anything, I deeply resonate with that message, but I also just, yeah, I feel like you guys are, you guys are a little closed off. I gotta be real. And I think that that's something that if you guys are like intentionally, and a separate message, if you guys are intentionally trying to manifest a committed relationship, if you want to manifest someone to like get through that barbed wire fence, but then also through the invisible infrared fence, and incense just fell when I said that, I think that you guys are going to have to do a little bit of work in trying to be a little bit more vulnerable with the people around you. Because I think that, yeah, there's just some energy of just simply, yeah, being a little closed off, but just simply not even feeling in the mood to really open yourself up. It's being closed off, but almost closed off a little bit out of laziness, or a little bit out of like, oh, well, if you're the right person, you'll pry it out of me. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there for you, pile one. So yeah, what's seductive about you? I mean, you guys are hot. You guys have like a real strong sexual sensual presence. Yeah, beautiful features. I feel like people though, like you give a lot of people the time of day. But yeah, people don't really know who you are, and that makes them very interested in you. And a lot of people think that they know who you are. A lot of people initially think they don't know who you are and that it's hard to get to know you, and then a lot of people think that they're eventually able to get to know you, and so they feel very satisfied and powerful in that fact, and that draws them to you. But then actually they don't really know you that well, or they just simply don't even know the deep complexities of you. But okay, pile one, I'm gonna leave it there, you guys. If you liked this reading, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Honestly, you guys, I would really recommend subscribing, specifically because your energy, I want to be able to read it. Like, I want to be able to tap into it with a lot more ease. And so doing something like subscribing would help that, because it helps sort of like our energetic bond or what have you. But okay, I hope you guys have such a beautiful night whenever you watch this. I gotta be real, I think I'm a little tired. I think I'm gonna go to bed tonight. Maybe I'll record tomorrow night, but maybe I'll just record tomorrow day. Who knows? Not me. Goodbye. Hey, pile two, if you chose paint the sun back into your sky, sun, this card, this will be your reading all about what do people find the most seductive about you. And so if you guys haven't noticed, it's not nighttime anymore. I got too tired filming the intro and group one, and so I, went to sleep, and now it's the next day. And I still wanted to have the same sort of like cool, cozy vibe, so I tried to turn off the lights, but there's still, some natural light, so it's definitely not as dark as it was in the intro in pile one. But, okay, so I'm going to start off with just some intuitive messages that are coming to me from this card. So some of you guys could quite literally be, quite artistic or creative with paint the sun back into your sky. Maybe you guys do like painting, or maybe you guys just simply are like an artsy, creative type of person. And I think that people do really admire and find this seductive about you. It may not even be, maybe you wouldn't even consider yourself as having like, stereotypical talent in whatever creative field you like to work in, but I think that you just have the energy of like a deeply creative, like aesthetic, artsy person. So like maybe you dress, pretty, in a pretty cool, interesting, artsy way. Maybe, you just decorate your home and your house and your room with a lot of like beautiful decor, and you just put a lot of thought into that. There's just like a lot of energy of like the life that you create around yourself is fairly artistic and beautiful. And I think that people are really intrigued at that, because you do just sort of innately curate beauty around you wherever you are. And I think that also, you could be the type of person who maybe creativity is almost like an outlet for some of your emotions. Maybe you've been a little stifled by people in the past, people who were maybe, stronger personalities who just sort of, decided to control you or try to control you. And so maybe sort of, yeah, there's an energy of you guys also being just a little soft-spoken. you know, like a little delicate, you know. I feel like you do have the energy of like the artsy person who's, you know, a little quiet, but then once you get to know them, it's like their mind is incredible and everything. But I think that you guys do sort of have like a fairly delicate sort of aura, and maybe yeah, maybe creativity is like sort of an outlet that you use to express yourself when you feel stifled by those around you who may be, you know, maybe they have stronger presences. This is like a random separate message, but maybe some of you guys, like growing up, you guys have very like strong, judgmental, outspoken family members, and maybe, you know, stuff like art and movies and music and drawing helped you sort of live in your own world away from their judgments and critiques. But, you know, about what's so seductive about you, I think that you do have just sort of this like soft girl next door, boy next door energy, regardless of gender. But let's get some more messages. Let's get some more cards. You know, actually I'm going to start off with oh, actually no, I'm going to start off with these cards. It's the, what's it called? The Pure Magic Oracle deck? Yeah, the Pure Magic Oracle deck. Absolutely beautiful. I just got these cards last week and I love them. So let's get some cards. What's seductive about pile 2? You know, this girl has colored hair or dyed hair, so maybe you guys have something like that. I think that there is something about your appearance that's very, you know, cool. Maybe you guys have piercings or tattoos, you know, or maybe you guys do dye your hair or have a funky hairstyle. Something a little, you guys are giving me like quirky, artsy vibes. Alright, we have Florida water. So I filmed a reading about soulmates. Who's your soulmate? And this card came out. So actually, you know, the message that I'm getting is, you know, for the Who is Your Soulmate reading, this card came out as one of the groups. This was pile 2. You guys may, you know, that reading may actually be about you. Group 2, you may want to watch that reading. I'll link it below in the description box, but you guys may want to watch that reading because that group, it may not be who your soulmate is. That group may actually be you, you know, in case your soulmate is watching this video. This is so interesting because I do remember the, you know, the messages from that reading because I did it recently. And this is, I'm being called to see how, you know, there are flowers painted right here, and then this person has flowers like all around them. So yeah, I think this is like, you know, you painted all these flowers that you see here. Florida water, it says natural form, enchanted potion, red roses, cleansing. So this card is about, it's about spirituality, basic spirituality, but I feel like in that, you know, basic spirituality can almost be boiled down to just like finding beauty in the mundane, because that is almost like the most basic form of spirituality. Sort of how, what kickstarted me on my spiritual journey and spiritual awakening is just becoming more mindful in the 3D world around me and sort of feeling the spiritual presence in the mundane things that I'm already experiencing. So I think that you have that energy to you. I think that in this beauty that you make, you know, this artistic presence that you have in your life, I think that you're able to sort of like curate a sort of magic that really draws people in. I think people see you not only as very artsy and like maybe quirky and very singular, but I think that they also do see you as sort of some sort of ethereal spiritual being. And I really am getting the word ethereal specifically. You just seem, you know, take what resonates, but you guys could identify as with the concept of starseed. It's giving me that energy. It's giving me the energy of someone who appears very obviously like a starseed to the people around them. I think with enchanted potion, I think this talks about actually, you know, how other people, I think it talks about how other people see you and how you're able to make things in the world. I remember in the soulmate reading, the message that I was getting from this card is that this, you know, the soulmate was able to just make everything happen. They're like a master manifester, and I think that you could have the same energy. I think that you guys are very much, you know, you're living the life that you guys intended to make for yourselves, and I think that people will see that and admire that. I think that there could also be something very unique and singular about your life. You know, maybe you just have a very interesting career path, or maybe you have like a lot of different hobbies that you take. But I think that there's just something about your day to day that is very different from the average person's, like, you know, 9 to 5, come home, eat dinner, go to sleep. I think that you guys do have a sort of very adventurous energy to you, and you're living the life almost like you're living life how other people wish they could live. Even if you guys are currently like students, or you guys are currently, you know, in a fairly monotonous type job that is like a 9 to 5, I think that you guys are able to do a lot within that, and before that slash after it, that like just, yeah, has people admire you, because people are like, wow, I'm not using my time that way. And so, you know, even if, you know, you guys have a 9 to 5, maybe after then you guys like go to pole dancing lessons or something. I think that there is some sort of, also just sort of innately, I don't think that it's a very obvious sexual energy to you, but I think that it is sort of some sort of undercurrent, because I think that, you know, what enables you to bring such artistic energy into your life is sort of your innate sensuality and how in touch you are with your sacral chakra. So I think that even, you know, if you have maybe people, you know, they see you, maybe they'll, you know, they'd sooner call you cute rather than sexy, but I think that you do, like, part of your cuteness is sort of like your sexiness. So it's, you know, you're an artsy person, but in that artsiness is like intense sensuality. It's not just like, you know, quirky, funny, weird type person. No, it's like very, you know, you're quirky, but you're interesting and sensual as well, somewhat. Let's get some more cards. Let's get some, you know, let's get some apples to apples cards right now, actually. I'm getting you guys could wear a lot of colors, and I think that that is really also what people like about you. They like all the colors that you wear. It's like, also take this if it resonates. It may not resonate for everyone, but maybe some of you guys like feel like you dress like little kids. Like maybe you guys like wear like overalls or something, or like, you know, t-shirts, or like the type of fashion that's in nowadays that's very much almost like child's wear. I think that people, you know, the people who are into it are into it, and yeah, the people that are like attracted to you definitely do find that. I don't know about seductive so much as like alluring. Yeah, it's just more of your charm, you know, which is interesting. Same as pile one, like a lot of messages that are coming out, they're not really about, you know, what's so seductive about you, but so much like what's alluring about you. So maybe I'll like change the title to be, you know, what do people find most enchanting or alluring about you? Because I think it really is, you know, your energy. We have rough. Oh, so I think that there could be, so not smooth, not gentle. Maybe this could be like your upbringing or something. Like, I don't know. I feel like you have the energy of having overcome a lot of things. So I think that that's also what people really, you know, yeah, what they admire about you. I think that, yeah, again, something that's not so seductive per se, but like what people admire about you is they admire your rough past, or how maybe you haven't had the easiest past, or just there are like, you know, there are haters around you, or people who are going with the flow, and you sort of have the audacity to be yourself and to be this like artsy creative person. But I think that also, you know, you guys could have like some sort of edge to you. So maybe you guys are this really nice, sweet, artsy person, but you're also like pretty sarcastic. Maybe like a little teasing. You like to tease people. We have yucky. Oh my gosh. So I think that actually you guys may have really high standards. So I don't think that you guys, you may not accept a lot of people as a potential relationship partner. Even if you guys do feel like you, sort of date or see a lot of people, I don't think that you let a lot of people like in, or, you know, even if you do let people in, I don't think you, yeah, you don't get into committed relationships with a lot of people. There's some sort of like strong boundary where you're saying like, ew, no, that's yucky, I would never let you date me. Or it's going to be the vibe of like, you know, maybe you would have sex with someone who's like Republican, but maybe you would never actually, you know, date someone who's a Republican. That's just like a random, you know, take what resonates. It could be the reverse. Maybe you're a Republican and you would only ever have sex with someone who's a Democrat, but you would never actually, you know, get into a relationship with someone who's a Democrat. And then famous, you know, there could definitely be some of you guys who are like, this artsy creative endeavor that you have, it actually does garner you guys a lot of attention. And I think that people, yeah, I think that, I mean, even if it doesn't naturally garner you a lot of attention, I think that it is what makes people pay attention to you somewhat, you know? So even if this is just like, maybe you don't even identify as that much of an artsy person, but you know, you do like aesthetically dress in a pretty artsy way. Maybe you don't like paint or anything, but you do like have a nose ring and have some tattoos. Like, I think that that really is what draws people into you. And then conversely, if you don't have any tattoos or piercings, I think that you're probably someone like a creative or an artist or a musician, etc. And I think that your content is really like, people are really into it. They're really impressed by it, honestly. There's some energy that's like, how could this person be so young and like produce this sort of stuff? Like, how are they able to have this amount of, I don't know, skill? Not even skill, but like just almost like expertise. But it's like this. Okay, this is just a completely random message also, but you know, this is giving me the vibe. This isn't an artist who's like classically good at just like, you know, portraits or realism or something. This is someone who's like, you know, they're deeply abstract. You know, there's some area, or there's some, like, you're both very good at the hobbies that you have and the things that you do, but I think that also you're very like novel in those areas. So I think that you're not just like any other really great realistic painter, but you're like maybe you do realism, but it's like weird abstract random things that you make realistic, and it's like things that people wouldn't even think of. And so there's some energy of like, you're both like the pioneer in your field, but also like you're already that expert in that field that you're pioneering. We also have quiet, yeah, so I think that you're very soft-spoken. That message was coming out earlier too, but I think that also especially just about this creativity or these skills that you have. Maybe it's not that you're like, you won't talk about it, maybe you're not overly humble, but I think that you are humble. I think that you know who you are, but you're definitely not like overly confident or overly arrogant, or at least you're not outspoken about it. I think that you know your abilities, you're confident in your abilities, but you're not gonna like shove it in people's faces. And so people, yeah, that adds like an air of mystery to it, because people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you even like were an artist at all, let alone like such a talented artist. We have healthy, so you guys could take care of your bodies, or also, yeah, I think that you guys just have a healthy energy, you know, to you. Like, it's giving me like very strong boundaries. I think that you guys really know who you are, and I think that you know, even in the maybe in the past you guys had to learn how to sort of cut off people who overstepped boundaries, but I feel like now or you know, at least in the near future, you will get really good at that. And so you are going to just have a very wholesome energy to your life, because it feels like there's not going to be anything, you know, excessive, and people are going to say, how is that person able to live like just so peacefully, so unbothered, like in their own bubble? And they're gonna be really into it. Special. Oh, you guys are very special. It is, yeah, once again, it's just gonna be the energy of like, you are like sort of like the quirky, artsy, like hipster type person. Yeah, but like in your soul, you know, pile one, I was getting like maybe some of them dressed a little more quirky, or they had something sort of that stood out to them aesthetically, but I feel like this is like your guys' entire being. Your insides are sort of they're very out there. And I think that people are, yeah, they're really into it. They think it's very, they're not used to it, so they're very attracted to it, because it is a sort of authenticity that I feel like a lot of people would, you know, if a lot of people are this way, I feel like a lot of people would be too afraid or, you know, unwilling to step into their authenticity. But I think you are not, and people really admire you about that. I feel like you guys also really have nice hair, which is a random message. Let's get some things from the Mundane Tarot deck. Mundane Magic Tarot deck, or Magic Mundane Tarot deck. Let's see, what's so seductive about pile 2? That's too many cards. So I'm not taking them. What's seductive about pile 2? 7 of lattes, 7 of cups. So it says, in economics, it's called opportunity cost. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Every option bearing implicit fees. More isn't always more. Choose wisely. Okay, so the 7 of cups is about kind of not being satisfied with your options or looking for more. Or, you know, maybe not really seeing the options exactly as they are. And I feel like that's what you are. You're very picky about your options and what things you take. And so I feel like people feel like they're unable really to, you know, broach you in a way, or broach you? Oh my god, I like forget words now or something. They're unable to, they can't, like, you know, break your wall, or I feel like they feel very, you know, you're easy to get to know. I feel like you're a very friendly person, but yeah, you do just have such strong boundaries. It's like people feel close to you, and you would consider yourself close to people, but I think that you just simply, you're very aware of things, and so you're not going to let everyone super duper close. You're not going to let anyone be your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner. Maybe you'll let these people be your friends, and you'll be like, okay, we can be friends, but we can't even be close friends because I still don't trust you enough. I think that there's just some energy of people want to get closer to you and have a relationship with you that's maybe a little more intimate than you're willing to let them have. Or it's giving me the energy of people are really attracted and enticed by your energy. I feel like you have an authenticity that a lot of people do sort of shy away from having. And so I feel like you could attract a lot of people who have this sort of like quirkiness, you know, differentness, starseed like energy to them, but they're a little too afraid of outwardly expressing it. And so they see you being very comfortably and outwardly expressing it, and so they want to get close to you. But then I feel like you may detect how they're not completely genuinely their self, and you may not want to, you know, interact with their energies so deeply because maybe those sort of energies you're very susceptible to. This is also giving me a lot of like empathic energy. I feel like you guys are an empath. You're able to really feel people's emotions very well, and sort of you absorb a lot of people's emotions too, so you're very careful about who you have around you. Let's see if any other card from the Mundane Magic wants to come out. Yeah, I think I'm going to rename this video to being like, what's the most enchanting or alluring about you? Because, you know, yeah, those are the messages that are coming out, which is beautiful because they're sweet messages, you know? You also have the 8 of Knives, which is the 8 of Swords. So pacing, a confined animal, awaiting imminent danger. Do something, anything. What if the cage was unlocked this entire time? Liberate yourself. I think that's the energy you have. You have the energy of already having liberated yourself. And I think that it's, you know, it's even more admirable to the people that know you and know your past and your struggles, because they see the cage from which you were able to free yourself. They see the judgmental people whose judgments you were able to free yourself from. And that makes them even more proud and, you know, admirable of the fact that you are now so comfortable with expressing yourself the way that you are. And I think that this also 8 of Swords, oh, this is so interesting. I mistook it for the 8 of Wands, honestly, in my mind. So I was thinking, you know, this card is about speed and being able to manifest things. And honestly, I'm still getting that message. I think that you guys are really able to manifest things, but I think that you guys did sort of, you're able to manifest things so quickly now because you broke free of caring about people's judgments and caring about the critiques of those around you. And so I feel like in that liberation is what enabled you to really be this master manifester of making things happen for you. But I think that, yeah, there is some energy that I feel like even people who don't really know you, they feel like you had to have overcome something, because you are, you know, a fairly unique, singular person, but you're still so confident and okay with that. There's almost just an energy of people being like, wow, there had to have been some like life lesson for you to learn, for you to be so in touch with yourself and so comfortable with yourself. And, you know, they're right. There was. So let's get some more cards. Oh, you know what? Let's get some Cards Against Humanity's cards. So what's so seductive about pile 2? What's so alluring or attractive about pile 2? So we have poor life choices. So I think that that's talking about the other people, you know. I think that people around you, maybe they have poor life choices. Or I think that, I mean, not like to, you know, minimize it or anything. But I think that you guys definitely do probably attract people who have a similar sort of soul as you, but who are a little bit more afraid of showing it. And so I think that, yeah, that's a big message that's coming out. People are so seduced by you and so attracted to you and admire you so much and are so enchanted by you because you have the authenticity and the audacity to be the person that they're almost too afraid of being rich. So I think that you guys, this has to do with famous, so I think that you guys could actually find some sort of material success from, you know, your creative endeavors. This is also giving me the vibe of like influencer, you know, so you guys could very well like become famous solely for your aesthetic lifestyle. And so maybe, yeah, maybe you guys are feeling like you aren't that artsy or creative of a person, but maybe you guys, you know, you do put a lot of effort into your appearance or your interior design or something. And so you guys could definitely, if you guys have been thinking about starting like a TikTok or an Instagram or like a YouTube channel or something, you know, to show off those parts of yourself, I think you're being encouraged to do that because, you know, that's like, yeah, another way that people will see you and admire you, and you could definitely become rich or famous out of it. A balanced breakfast. So this reminds me of healthy. So yeah, I'm getting that you guys could definitely like meditate, be into yoga, be into like holistic sort of like medicine or something, alternative medicine. I think that you guys have a lot of like alternative holistic ways to keep yourself well, your mind and body and spirit well. And so I think that even if it isn't you like actually going to the gym, maybe you guys just take like a bath once a week and you guys, but you know, it's like a sort of ritualistic thing that you do consistently that makes you feel good, and that's why you do it. And people admire that because you do have a lot of discipline. Yeah, I think that's another message that's coming through. You guys have a lot of discipline to have the life that you have, which is maybe not that obvious to a lot of people immediately because, you know, you're just an artsy, free-spirited person, it seems, but actually they get to know you and they see, oh, actually, you know, they're this way. They're so artsy and comfortable with themselves because they had a, you know, maybe a rougher upbringing, and now they have really strong boundaries, and they'll be kind to everyone, but they have really strong boundaries, and so they're not going to let everyone be their boyfriend or girlfriend or partner. And, you know, they have a really regimented, consistent routine, and it's a very artsy routine, very holistic, wholesome routine, but it's still a routine that they do to make themselves feel good. And I think that people really, yeah, they admire your discipline. Completely unwarranted confidence. I mean, I think that's coming out because you have completely warranted confidence. And yeah, and maybe the people around you, they feel like they have unwarranted confidence because maybe their confidence is stemming from the fact that they're suppressing their like quirky, weird side. But then your like genuine, warranted confidence is stemming from the fact that you are comfortable with yourself and you know who you are and you want to be that person. Let's get, you know, let's get some final messages. Some final messages about what's so seductive or enchanting or alluring about pile 2. What's some final messages? Planetarium. I think that, yeah, you guys, yeah, starseed again. I think that maybe you guys enjoy like going places like the planetarium, and you know, maybe people, you know, maybe you guys enjoy doing things for fun that other people think are a little out there or other people think aren't that typical, and they're very intrigued by it and they're very, yeah, they really admire it. You know, so maybe you guys, something that you go do in your free time, maybe you go to the planetarium, maybe you go to the aquarium, maybe you go to the zoo. You know, and maybe people your age, instead they like go to the bar, they go to a club, but you know, instead you're at the planetarium. But I think also that's the message of like starseed coming out again. I think that you have a very obviously ethereal energy to you
that draws people in. We have Andy Samberg. Yeah, you guys are a friend. You guys are a friend to everyone, I feel like. Daredevil, you guys are a friend to everyone, but also you guys are a fun person. You have your own energy, you know what you like to do, but also like you're spontaneous. You'll go out with people. You know, you love the planetarium, but also like you're not against the club. You like going to the club too, but you're just also someone who likes the planetarium. Really bad dates. Yeah, if you go on a really bad date, you are not going to go on another date with that person. I feel like that's the strong boundaries. Maybe you'll go on a really bad date, and then after that date, you'll say, let's just stay friends, and you'll be okay with that, maintaining a friendship. Maybe it's not even someone you care about having a friendship with, but you just want to be kind and polite, and you know, you're a nice person, and you want to give your friendship and give your love to people. And so you say, yeah, we can have a friendship after this. But you know, you are strong and disciplined enough to know that you do not want to go on another date with them. Then we have End of the Universe. So honestly, this card is so special to me because I had a few things coming to mind when I put it in the deck. So first, you know, End of the Universe, End of the Earth, or Ends of the Earth, that song by Lord Huron. So it's like, ends of the earth, I will follow you. And so that's like a love song. And that band is like a very folky band. So you guys could be into like indie folk music, folk music. Yeah, you guys are definitely giving me folk art vibes, honestly. But also in the car right before this, I was listening to the song Across the Universe. And so that is a song that is so special to me because it's, again, a song that was channeled to me specifically based on my twin flame journey by another very talented reader. And so that I think that you guys do have like a great, beautiful love story ahead of you, just an aside. And I think that, you know, it is going to be very magical. And I feel like other people can almost detect that. I feel like other people notice the main character vibes that you have naturally. And so they're drawn to you because of that. Yeah, you guys do have main character vibes. You guys have like main character in an indie movie person vibes. And this says, and so the universe ended by Douglas Adams, the restaurant at the end of the universe. I don't know what any of that means. But yeah, I think so, end of the universe. I think also just, I think that you guys could actually be like, you guys could actually have like a very, very old soul. Like you guys could be starseeds from like a very long time ago, or you guys could be like reincarnated. I mean, yeah, again, take what resonates. You guys could be like children of deities or something. Like definitely, if that has been floating around in your mind, you guys wondering where your past lives are, or maybe who you were in a past life, or maybe just who your like divine parents are or something, I would definitely recommend like getting some sort of reading done on that, because yeah, that's definitely a message that's coming out, which is just again telling me that other people are very obviously aware of the inner power and spiritual strength that you guys have. Because at the end of the day, it is your inner power and spiritual strength that enables you to have such good boundaries with people. It enables you to really manifest things, and it enables you to like make the artsy, beautiful, creative life that you've wanted to create. But okay, pile 2, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you guys have a very nice day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye! Hey, pile 3, if you chose Lighthouse, Don't Doubt Your Worth, this will be your reading all about what people find the most seductive about you. Warning though, the messages that are coming out are really coming out in like a, you know, a soulful, emotional level, so these aren't, the messages seem to not be less of what do people find seductive about you, and more so what do people find like alluring and enchanting about you. So I feel like that's probably going to be the same as with this group, because that's sort of how it went with the first 2 groups. So Lighthouse, Don't Doubt Your Worth. This is telling me, I think that you do have a very strong presence, and I think that you do, maybe I'm getting like, you know, you command the room. You know, this is, this little painting that she's adjusting is saying, I am always enough. I feel like that is sort of you putting up very clear boundaries. Let's get some more messages about it. You know, actually, I do. Yeah, I do want to get messages specifically about that, because, you know, honestly, I was surprised all 3 of the groups had something about, you know, some strong sense of what they feel they deserve. That's what's been very, you know, attractive and enchanting and alluring and seductive about all of the groups so far. And so I'm curious to know, honestly, if this is, you know, don't doubt your worth, if this is other people obviously seeing your worth, or if this is you sort of asserting to people to not doubt your worth. Let's see what it is. Because, I mean, it is interesting. You can't exactly see her face. She's just putting up a sign. So this is honestly telling me, like, you know, this is how other people see you. Other people just see you as something very valuable. You may not even, like, feel like you may not even feel that confident in yourself, but I feel like other people very much see the worth in you, maybe that you don't even see for yourself. King of Swords, yeah, so I think it's someone else, like other people seeing this in you. Because the King of Swords also was a little reverse. Oh my gosh, and then Five of Pentacles, yeah, so maybe you really don't see this, you know, this part of yourself. Maybe you don't feel like you're that strong of a person, or you don't feel like other people admire you. Maybe you came to this reading and were like, I don't know, maybe not, you know, not to sound too harsh, but maybe you guys came just like looking for some sort of hope that some people are like attracted or seduced by you. Yeah, because also I remember this card took so long to come out. When picking the cards for the 3 piles, when shuffling the cards, this card took so long to come out. The first 2 like zipped out instantly, but this one took so long to come out. And then so I'm getting that energy that maybe you guys don't feel like you're very seductive. Maybe you guys don't feel like you're very attractive or, you know, worth a lot of people's time. We also have the Strength card, which is just sort of reiterating that same energy to me. It's all about, you know, finding strength where you feel like there's not a lot to be found, or like, you know, finding strength in circumstances where you do sort of need to be strong to weather it. So I feel like other people, they really do see this though. I feel like they see you as someone more worth than what, worthier, you are someone who's worth more than what you have. Oh my gosh, it took like so long for me to formulate the grammar of that sentence. But we also have Temperance here. So yeah, this is telling me that I think that you may, you know, this is just a separate message. I think that you may like put energy into other things to try to sort of escape this feeling of, or this, you know, this nagging doubt in your mind, like the back of your mind, just asking you, are you worthy? And I feel like the people coming through in this reading, their higher selves, are definitely telling you, yes, you are worthy, and they see it. You know, this is giving me the vibes of like someone else is putting up this sign on your storefront that says, I am enough. And so it's not you putting up this sign about your own store, it's other people putting it up. And, you know, the wall was bare before this was put on it. So I feel like very much you're not really, yeah, you're not too eager to honestly like assert any sort of confidence or anything. You're more so quick to sort of deflect. I'm getting, you know, if someone says, oh, you look so pretty today, I feel like you're like, oh, thanks, like, you know, my hair is finally behaving, or something like that. You say something that's like, you try to almost minimize the compliment. Like, but other people see it, other people see you. We have Voodoo Roots and Opening Circle. This is so interesting, you know, because I feel like, so I've used this deck in a couple other readings, and I feel like in one reading, I think both of these cards were groups to choose from. I think, I'm not sure, but I think both of these cards were pick a group things. Which is so interesting. I love the synchronicities because like I've only used this deck so many times, and like the same cards keep coming out. It's so interesting. Like I've not seen most of the cards in this deck. But Voodoo Roots, we have respect, survival, liberation, freedom. So I think this is, yeah, this is the people around you respecting you. I think that you do a lot to earn people's respect. I think that you guys may identify as being something like a social justice warrior, or maybe you're just someone who really has like a lot of passion and care for people, specifically maybe like oppressed groups or minorities or something. So we also have opening circle, protection, ritual, lessons, simplicity. Yeah, I feel like this is you fiercely protecting other people, the people that you love, and also, for some of you, maybe even yourself. I think that maybe some of you guys do have some sort of. Hey Pile 3, so sorry, that was so weird. I have no idea why, but that video cut off. It just stopped recording, or it paused, and I have truly no idea what could have done that. And yeah, so I was like in the middle of talking about this card, and so guys, I think that's a huge synchronicity for you guys. I think that what I was saying, so what I was in the middle of saying was that I think that you guys are deeply cleansing yourself, like spiritually, and maybe you guys have some sort of protective spiritual practice that you have. But honestly, the fact that it stopped recording then sort of tells me that I think maybe a lot of you do not actually have that in place, but you are deeply being called to put that in place. Especially because your group is sort of one of the groups that seems to not really be aware of their own power as much as, some other people, or as much as you deserve to be. You're just simply not aware of your power, as much power as you do have. And so I feel like a lot of that could be, maybe jealous projecting energies around you, or just negative energy in general. Whatever causes us to be insecure, it's not something good, regardless of what it is. So I think you're being called to, yeah, use some spiritual practices like cleansing baths or something to yeah, sort of help wash away that energy, of course. And don't only rely on these things. If you feel called to, I think that you guys, should pursue stuff. If you're, again, if you feel comfortable with it, like therapy or something, or maybe some of you guys like, medication can be very helpful, or just like, supplements, stuff like that. And so I think that, yeah, just doing something tangible to sort of help strip away the negative energy will be very helpful. Because yeah, that was so weird. I have truly no idea what could have caused it to just, it didn't even stop recording, guys. It just paused, like bizarre. I have no idea how it paused, because I know sometimes when I think I press play, I accidentally double press and it plays and then pauses immediately afterwards, and I don't realize. But this one is like, I've recorded already like 7 minutes of your guys' reading, and it just paused randomly. But yeah, so obviously, as you can see, I was rambling on and choosing other cards. So I'll continue with the reading and just repeat myself. That's fine. I'm not that bothered. But so yeah, I think that you guys, yeah, I think again, you guys I think you guys have really strong passions, and like the things and the causes that you feel strongly for, these are causes that you've felt strongly for a while. So back when I was rambling to myself a few minutes ago, I was talking about how maybe some of you guys, for example, really feel strongly about children and protecting children. And maybe this is something you felt even when you were a child yourself. Maybe you were like, oh no, I'm being mistreated right now, or these kids around me are being mistreated, this isn't fair. And that's something that, an attitude that stayed with you, thoughts that stayed with you your entire upbringing. And to this day, maybe now you're like going into a career path to try and help defend children or something. But yeah, I think that you're a very fiercely protective person, but maybe you're not that protective over yourself. And I feel like that causes the people around you to be even that much more like protective and defensive over you, because they see maybe how little you're willing to protect and defend yourself, and so they feel like, no, you need extra protection. Then they respect and revere you so much. The word revere just kept coming to me. And so yeah, I think that, okay, another message also that was coming through initially when I just even was starting to shuffle your piles was, when I chose your card, because this card, as I was saying, this card came out it took so long for this card to come out when I was choosing cards for the 3 groups. this card took so long to come out, and then when it came out, this song, Don't Doubt Your Worth, it immediately made me think of the One Direction song, That's What Makes You Beautiful. And now I am, I hope that we can all agree that the message of that song is not that great. You shouldn't tell people that the fact that they're not beautiful is what makes them beautiful. But I think that there is some energy of you guys being a little, maybe you guys are more comfortable being something like the wallflower. Maybe you guys are just a little more soft spoken, or maybe you guys just simply aren't so loud, or you guys just aren't that willing to be the center of attention, or there's just some sort of energy where there are people around you who have a lot more obviously strong in your face presences that you would maybe other people would notice first, maybe before they notice you. And so this is giving me the energy of you guys, like, people underestimate you, if I'm being honest. At first they underestimate you because maybe you are a little bit more quiet, you are a little bit more overtaken by the strong energies around you, and so it's like maybe you go to a party and you're a wallflower, but then if one topic comes up and it's a topic that you're so passionate about and you know a lot about, or just a topic that you want to speak on, maybe you're just someone, you don't have that many interests, but maybe you absolutely love comedy, and maybe someone just brings up a comedian and you just like turn on, you're like go into like, your maximum 100% self, and you just like, start spewing out facts and just making like enriching conversation. And it's just people underestimate your presence so much initially that it makes it that much more powerful when you guys do open your mouth and say something, because people, they're like, wow, this is what, this person was quiet this entire time and now they're speaking and this is what they say. Wow, everyone shut up, we need to listen and like take notes. You have a very powerful presence, I feel like, and people notice that. And I think the people that are sort of able to go head to head with that want to and respect and revere you. I think that the people who maybe are a little frightened by that, or maybe the people who are projecting a little bit, so they assume that you need to be like, that you're like insincere or not genuine or something, they'll get a little jealous. But yeah, so you could have some negative people around you who are a little bit thrown off by your quiet yet strong presence. Maybe they feel like there's no way that they're actually a genuine person. How can someone be so powerful and cool and knowledgeable but yet still so like humble and soft spoken? They're like, no, someone like that doesn't exist, you're fake. And so I feel like, yeah, that's again just the message of you guys really needing to spiritually protect yourselves. Yeah, and so we had the Ace of Coins, and then, so I think I just chose the Judgment card, and that's when I noticed your reading was, like, not recording at all. And so the very last line of this Judgment card says, where does one thing end and another begin? So I feel like, honestly, I think that could be, that's giving me the, honestly, just the message of your soul, like probably being a very old reincarnated soul. And I think that these passions and interests and hobbies and things that you have are things that you've had for a very long time. Maybe you're just even someone who, like, you love music, but maybe it's like, yeah, you love music, but you love music, you listen to music a lot, but you like truly do love music, but maybe you don't feel like you have any musical ability. But like, I feel like in a past life you probably were a musician or something, like, I think even just the little hobbies and interests and stuff that you have, the things that you do, I think that you have like real soul deep connections with these things, and I think that other people can tell that, especially the people close to you. I think that it's obvious that the interests and things and traits that you have are things that you genuinely do have and have had for a long time, and I think that fact is obvious to everyone. And so I think is also especially what makes people jealous or in disbelief that you're a real person, is because they can see how truly talented you are, how truly knowledgeable you are. They see how honestly funny, awesome, cool of a person you are, and they get so confused as to how you could have such a humble energy. They just automatically think that it just simply can't be true. You must be putting on some sort of front, because no one could be cool and have the potential for turning so many heads as easily as you do, yet keep it under wraps. And I feel like that's the energy that it is. I feel like you guys have star quality. You guys could be so powerful. You guys could have many things. Like, it's giving me vibes of like you guys could have anything, anyone that you want, but I don't think that you guys are willing to get that. And maybe a lot of it is because you may feel not worthy of a lot of things. This is a separate message specifically in romantic connections. I feel like you guys probably, you guys don't realize how desirable you are to people as a potential romantic partner or interest. And so I think that you guys just don't go after a lot of people, or you don't invest actual time or energy into connections that you feel sort of unworthy of. But like those other people on the other ends of these connections, they do see your worth. And so, yeah, once again, just another message of, try to take the time to curate some self-love, because I think that itself could definitely be a little bit of an obstacle in attracting romantic love, if that's what you guys are attracting or wanting to attract. But let's get some more cards. I absolutely adore your guys' energy, and that's why I have truly no problem with doing this reading another time. But also, I don't think I was rambling for too long, before, when it wasn't recording. I think also, though, you guys, so I did have the message. I think pile number 1, they had number 33. Their card was number 33 to choose from. Their pick a card was number 33, and I think you guys could potentially have messages in pile 1 if you felt so called, or felt like you resonated also with that pile, because they also had this message of you guys are so innately powerful and strong, but you guys do sort of have the energy of a little bit not really being that aware of your strength. Or maybe you are aware of your strength, but you're simply not aware of the magnitude of it. Like, I think maybe you guys are even just waking up to that now. Like, maybe you guys are starting to get how powerful you are, but you still have not even scratched the surface, you guys. Ooh, I loved how those cards just floated out. Weird. Yeah, I think that you guys could be weird. You guys could just simply be weird, delicate. Yeah, I think that that's sort of your emotions, your confidence is fairly delicate, but I think that people don't see you as delicate. You feel delicate, but people don't see you as delicate. But people do see you as someone, honestly, I feel like people can tell that you're a little bit unaware of your own worth, because I feel like specifically the people that are very close to you, they can tell that you have more that you want to say, but that you're sort of hold back. And so I think that maybe you do naturally have a very tempered temperament. Maybe you're naturally sort of a very balanced personality, so you're not that outspoken naturally. But I feel like maybe you guys aren't as opposed to being the center of attention as frequently as you feel you are. Maybe a lot of you guys do like to deflect because you are a little uncomfortable with the focus being on you. But I feel like other people, the people closest to you do sort of notice that, but everyone basically notices how powerful you are, but it's only really the people closest to you who can tell that you're sort of refraining yourself, because to everyone else it does just sort of feel, except for the jealous people, but to like everyone else it does sort of just feel like you're just sort of someone who goes with the flow. You just sort of aren't really that emotionally invested in anything. You're sort of like an even vibed person, but then your passions are your passions. We have noisy, so maybe some of you guys actually do like to play instruments or something, and or maybe you guys like to do stand-up comedy or something. Like, that's just, honestly, that's what I'm getting by noisy. I'm getting like just some sort of like noise output of you guys as like some sort of like method of enjoyment that you guys like. So yeah, maybe you guys are a singer, play an instrument, maybe even just like this, like reading tarot to people. I'm using my voice for this, you guys, it's true. Maybe stand-up comedy also, like, and again, this could just be stuff that you're interested in. But yeah, like, you guys are You guys are a person. Like, you guys have your interests, and maybe you guys don't have like a billion cajillion interests, but you have interests that you are good at, that you have had for a long time, that people know you are good at and know you just have some sort of innate like expertise in. We got a bunch of stuff. So we have new. So that's interesting, honestly. I feel like maybe you guys attract a lot of new souls, honestly. You guys have such an old soul. I feel like you guys, that's totally it. That's such a beautiful message to receive. I feel like a lot of people around you are very new souls, and they're new souls as in like, you know, souls that are newly reincarnating on Earth. And so I feel like these are people who are just sort of learning a lot of lessons. And so I think that's why they have so much admiration and reverence and respect for you, because they see you, who you definitely have an old soul. They see you with an old soul who's just, you know, so secure in your energy, and, you know, so secure in your passions and your interests, and these, you know, ambitions that you've had for lifetimes and generations and reincarnations. And they just, yeah, they admire the hell out of that, honestly. We have comfortable. I think that you are able to make people very comfortable in your presence. Yeah, like, once again, this Voodoo Roots card is just giving me, like, the people around you love you so much and adore you so much. They get so much pure pleasure and warmth and comfort from your presence. Mysterious. Yeah, I think that that's how you, honestly, that's how you come across to the people, like the jealous people. That's how you come across to not the new souls, but maybe like the middle-aged souls, the souls who have been here for just long enough to be kind of skeptical of the people around them, the people who are here for long enough to sort of be a little bit in their ego and be a little too tethered to this 3D. And so they see you as just someone so humble, but so wise and so mature in such a mind-blowing way that they're like, there's no way you're a real person. There's something up with you. Jolly. I think you guys are able to be really jolly. You guys are able to be a very fun, loving, comforting, joyous presence to your loved ones. Delicious. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sexual too. To the, like, I feel like I'm getting the vibe that you guys probably have not had so many true, you know, bonded romantic connections. And the car's horns going off as I said that, so I think that's probably could be true for a lot of you. But I feel like the ones that you have had, specifically the ones that you've had, you know, sexual or physical intimacy in, it's been, they have seen you in quite the light. And, you know, maybe you guys, you know, for a lot of you guys could also, you know, maybe you guys haven't been in a lot of deep romantic connections, but even just anyone that you've been physically intimate with, or, you know, sexually intimate with, or anyone that you've even just dated, anyone that you have given the opportunity to see you in a mutually romantic light, I think that they've seen you as very delectable. For some reason, that is the word that's coming out. Not so much delicious, but like what the word that's I'm channeling is delectable, you know? And delectable gives me the vibe of, you know, they have choices lined up in front of them, but yours is the one that like looks the most scrumptious. It's so funny. Okay, let's get a couple other cards. Let's get a couple other cards, because I do love your guys' energy. Even though I've definitely spent the most time on your group. I want to. Some more things about what makes pile 3 so seductive. I'm gonna get just this one. Making a pouty face. Yeah, I think that that's just sort of your poker face. How you're able to like be a little wallflower in the back of the room. But then also just sort of like whip out like an incredible fact, or just make incredible conversation. Yeah, people just underestimate you. Drinking alone, I feel like for some reason that's gonna be the vibe of people drink alone and they think about you. Specifically like exes or romantic connections that you never allowed to go that far. I feel like they drink alone and think about you. Just like, those are like random messages coming out. Having big dreams but no realistic way to achieve them. No, I don't think that's true. I think that maybe that's what you're worried about. I think that everyone around you, though, they see you and they see your ambitions, and they see your passion for the thing you're ambitious about, and they're like, yep, nope, that person's gonna get it, and we're all going to watch and root you on as you fulfill your destiny. I feel like maybe just going with the example of like dedicating your life to protecting children, maybe you want to be like, you know, some sort of like really, you know, an advocate or something for child rights, and maybe you like have a vision of yourself like lobbying Congress or something if you're from the US. But and maybe you don't really believe in that, but everyone around you is like, no, if that's what you want to do, that's what you're going to do, because you literally are so powerful. You will just, you put yourself, if you keep going after these things, basically everyone around you has every confidence that you will achieve your goals. If you keep, this is giving me the vibe of like you wanting to be a doctor. You will be able to become a doctor if you want to do that, and if you make the steps towards taking the MCAT, applying to med school, doing residency, eventually becoming a doctor, you know. But if you, so like your ability is not the obstacle, it's just a matter of, are you going to take the steps? Silence, yeah, that's your ability to just like sit in the back, be silent, observe, but then just come out with something amazing when you want to say something amazing. Shapeshifters, yeah, that's how people feel. That's how people feel when you're able to just transmute that energy, when you're able to like sit back and be a wallflower, but then the topic turns to comedy and you're like, I have thoughts and opinions and actually my own jokes even. Getting really high. Maybe that's just something you guys like to do. That's I mean, which I think that could definitely be a big sign probably that you guys resonate with this pile, because I gotta be honest, I did smoke a little shweed before this, and I think that could also be a little bit why I'm vibing with the energy of your pile, with a little more energy than I did the other piles. But okay, pile 3, I'm gonna leave it there. If you guys like this reading, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, but definitely subscribe, I think, because I want to connect with your guys' energy more, and I think that we would resonate really deeply with each other, TBH. But yeah, have a nice day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!